Pollen-Pistil interaction. This topic is taken from the chapter of sexual reproduction in the flowering plants. Okay, so pollen-pistil interaction. So let us find out how the pollen is interacted with the pistil for the pollination process. As we all know that pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma, right? So pollination does not make sure that transfer of only compatible pollens. So what are compatible pollens? Means suitable pollens or desired pollens. It does not make the transfer of compatible pollens. Finding the suitable pollens is not the work of pollination, right? So what happens? Pistil has the ability to find out or to recognize the correct type of pollens so that it can promote the further germination, right? What happens if it is the wrong type? Then what happens? It will prevent the germination. Pistil will prevent the germination. This is what happens. This is the very easy process, pollen-pistil interaction. Pollination does not always ensure the transfer of compatible pollens. As I said, pollination does not make sure the transfer of suitable pollens or only desirable pollens. This is the work done by the pistil. Hence, the pistil has the ability to recognize the right type of pollen to promote the post-pollination events. So, this pistil has the ability, has the power to recognize the good type of pollen and to transfer it for further germination events or further pollination events. If the pollen is of the wrong type, the pistil prevents pollen germination. What happens? Pollen can be a good type and pollen can be a wrong type. So we require the right type of pollen. Means good type of pollen is required. Compatible pollens are required. So if the pollen is wrong type, then the pistil has power to prevent the further pollination or further post-pollination events, or you can say germination. Okay, then this interaction is mediated by chemical components of the pollen and the pistil. So this interaction, this pollen-pistil interaction mainly takes through the chemical components present in the pollen and the pistil. Very simple. So this interaction is done by chemical components of the pollen and the pistil. Next point. Pollen-pistil interaction is a dynamic process involving pollen recognition followed by promotion or inhibition of the pollen. As we know that pollination does not make the transfer of suitable pollens, so pistil has this power to find out the good type of pollens. If it is of the wrong type, then it is mainly prevents the further germination. This is done through chemical components. So this is the big dynamic process, complete dynamic process. First we involve the pollen recognition, then we have to find out it is we can promote it or we can inhibit it. So this is what? So it is the dynamic process. We call this process as a dynamic process. Then the pollen tube reaches the ovary and enters the ovule through the micropyle. Then through the filiform apparatus, it reaches synergids. In this way, the pollen tube grows. As we know that at the micropylar end, it consists of the two synergids, right? So through these synergids have some of the special thickenings at this micropylar end. These are called as filiform apparatus. Then through the filiform apparatus, it reaches the synergids. Filiform apparatus has special thickenings, so it will help in the leading the pollen tubes into the synergids. By this way, pollen tube grows. This is very simple and as well as very easy to